I want you to walk me through what happened on May 8th, 2019, exactly a year removed from breaking your back. Please.
I decided I wanted to do a backflip.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Who Can Relate. Today, as always, I have a very special guest with me. Her story has beyond inspired me, continues to inspire me, and I know for sure it'll do the same for you. Her name is Nicole. She's 20 years old. She's born and raised in the LA area. She is a trainer in LA, as well as an assistant coordinator gymnastics coach at LA Valley College. And again, we're going to be talking about all things overcoming. You're going to hear some amazing, incredible moments of overcoming the biggest challenges that I've ever came across and ever heard, and kind of the process along the way, and we'll hopefully give you guys some solutions towards any and all problems. So without further ado, Miss Nicole.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thanks for being here.
Of course.
And most importantly, thank you for telling your story.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so let's give a little bit more of a background for you. So you're from LA, you're a trainer, gymnastics coordinator.
Yes.
Tell us anything else you want to add to it.
That's
That's about it? That's who you are?
That's it. That's who I am.
So tell me then again about, there's a lot of jobs you can do, but gymnastics is pretty specific.
Yeah, I mean, grew up doing gymnastics. My mom was a gymnast as well, so we were doing somersaults at the age of 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and just never went professional.
Okay.
I stopped when I was about 15, but just loved coaching so
Sure.
much. So I actually got a really good opportunity to work at LA Valley College Gymnastics.
Okay.
And then I just started training and coaching there.
So how old were you when you got that opportunity?
I was 25, I think.
Okay, so a couple years ago.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
wow.
I've always been into fitness.
Sure,
Yeah,
of
always
course.
been into fitness.
Yeah, for sure. Which is background story for everybody too.
Right.
That's how we met.
Yes, that is how we met.
Nicole works at my Equinox that I go to, and very fitting. Here we are today talking about all that we will be. The first time I met you was your first day back at the gym.
Yes, it was.
With your trainer.
And look at God.
Full circle. Look at God.
Right.
Okay, so walk me through again. So gymnastics, you've been doing it your whole life, right? And you've been a coordinator the last 3 years. And one day you're at work.
Oh, yeah.
And something very bad happens.
Yeah. So a friend of mine, she wanted to stay over to do open gym. And I was tired and I was like, no, I don't want to go. I'm okay. And then, a bunch of other friends that wanted me to stay. So I was like, okay, I'll stay. And I was just tumbling, just warming up, just doing what we always do. And then just this one incident just didn't go so well. I didn't follow through correctly. I didn't set properly. It was my fault looking back at it.
And you've done this move
all the time.
Hundreds of times.
And I literally did it a minute before that. I have a video of doing it properly and then the video after this. But even the way I fell like a way I've fallen multiple times in gymnastics. People fall like that often. They get scared, they freak out, they fall on their back, you know?
Yeah.
It's just this one time.
Sure.
Being
Which
20,
is all it takes.
Right. Just getting older, just didn't go so well.
Body changing.
Yeah.
And what happened next?
I fell on my back, my legs went over, and I broke my back.
Let me repeat that for the people in the back. No pun intended. Nicole broke her back.
Yeah.
Give me a little bit more reference as far as timeline. So we are here today, 2020. This was May of 2018.
Yes.
So just 2 years and 2 months removed from breaking your back.
Burst fracture.
Now, moving along.
Moving along.
What was going through your mind? Did you hear something? Did you just know as soon as you felt instantly something was off, something was really bad? You've never felt this before. Did you react by everyone else's in the room, everyone else's reaction? What kind of happened next?
So I literally just laid there and I just couldn't catch my breath. You know when you just knock the wind out of yourself?
Sure.
And every time I've fallen like that, I just knock the wind out of myself. So I'm like,
okay.
I told everybody, I was like, just give me 5 minutes. I'm going to be good. You know, just everybody was super calm, but made sure I was okay. They were all around me, but I just couldn't catch my breath.
Sure.
And then, 10 minutes goes by and I still couldn't catch it. And I'm like, okay, like any day now.
Right.
But then after about 20 minutes, I was like, okay, something isn't wrong. Like something isn't right here.
This isn't normal.
This isn't normal. And then after 30 minutes, there was too much pressure being put into my spine.
30 minutes?
After 30 minutes, that's when the ambulance got there because I told everybody not to call. I was like, don't call, I'm going to be okay. And everyone was like, no, we have to.
Sure.
And as soon as the ambulance got there, they rolled me over. They hooked me up to IVs. When they rolled me over, you could just see like a bunch of people were just saying that they could see like a lump on my back. And I still couldn't catch my breath, but at this time I'm, I have morphine. And I was.
You're feeling good, living better.
I still was feeling it, but
okay.
Yeah, but I still.
Okay.
As soon as my toes started to tingle was when I knew that I messed up.
Okay.
I didn't think anything like that would happen, but I know what happens when your toes are tingling. So I was like, okay, something's bad here.
And so you were told there's a lump in your back.
Yeah.
You're now going to the hospital. You're in the ambulance. What are the doctors saying after they've seen? Did you take X-rays right away? MRI, CAT scan?
As soon as I got to the hospital, they just cut off all my clothes. They made sure that nothing was anything that I had to do. But they took me straight into. Well, they hooked me up to more pain medication. And then they took me into a CAT scan. After the CAT scan, they took me into an MRI. And after the MRI was like, we need immediate surgery now.
You heard this?
I heard this.
What was going through your mind?
I was like, why? And they wouldn't tell me until my sister got into the room and was like, you broke your back. And I was like, okay. Like, I didn't ever think that would happen.
Sure.
But as soon as that happened, they told me that they rushed me into surgery. I got to the room and I just said, to my sister and my dad and my boyfriend at the time, and I don't know, somebody else was in there, but they just said, you're going to be fine, you're going to be okay, we're going to be okay, and then I just went to sleep.
When you woke up then, and you were more to your senses, did they tell you at all there's a slight chance you may not walk again, that you may not be able to do gymnastics again, you may have some limitations with life? I
mean, the first thing I thought of when I did, they told me that I broke my back, I was like thinking of all the worst things that can happen.
Naturally.
Yeah, and I just didn't think, like, my sister was freaking out. She was, like, thinking the same thing, like, am I going to be able to walk again? Am I going to be able to do the things that I'm normally doing? As soon as I woke up, I was freaking out because I was just laying in bed. Nobody was around me. And one of my nurses came in and she was like, okay, we have to make sure that you could wiggle your feet.
Okay.
And then the doctor came in and he was like, okay, you need to press down on my hands now. And that feeling was like somebody was with me the entire time, because once I was able to push my feet down, everybody was so happy.
You just sigh of relief in the room collectively, like,
exactly.
Oh, okay, paralyzed, out the window.
Out the window.
Take that off the list.
Right.
Okay.
But lots of work to do.
Sure. But I mean, the greatest sign of hope
is having that feeling of your feet.
So you're now have the only, for the last couple hours, sign of relief, right? That you've received. Kind of take me through now, like, what's the next couple things that happen? So you knew you're going to be in the hospital for a while. You knew you're going to be at home for a while, bedridden, before any type of physical therapy is even questioned, right? So really quick, just how long were you in the hospital for before you were released?
I was in the hospital for a week.
Okay. And then released to go home?
Released to go home.
Under what?
Bed.
Just bed?
Bed
just
rest.
lay in bed. For how long?
Lay in bed. I was in bed for, I would say, a month or two, almost a month or two.
And when you say in bed,
I know.
Like,
you're in bed.
Like, you're in bed.
You're
not getting out for anything, even if someone helped you?
If someone helped me, yeah, and
Okay.
because I had to shower, somebody had to help me
Sure.
shower. Somebody had to help me.
Could you stand in the shower? Are you sitting down?
I was sitting.
Sitting.
You had to sit.
Okay.
I couldn't because I couldn't even reach up. My shoulders wouldn't even
Sure.
be able to go over my head. It was
Sure.
really hard.
Okay.
I couldn't bend over to put like socks on or, trying to put my own clothes on was the worst thing ever.
Which I mean, a situation like that, right, will humble you, to say the least.
Say the least,
I mean,
yeah.
we talked yesterday or a couple of days ago, and I was treading lightly when I brought up, not in comparison, but I brought up my little knee surgery. And I mean, my mom, bless her heart, was the one really helped me out. And I had to shower. I had my swimsuit on and had to wrap my cast and everything. And she's bathing me as if I'm her baby boy again, right? And I just remember thinking,
you just lose your
wow,
independence.
yeah. I'm just like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I don't want to fight it.
Right.
Yeah, Mom, I got it. No, I was like, here, I don't have it. Just please help me out. And I just remember feeling like it's not as hard as I thought it was as far as asking for help. There's a great quote that says, just because you have to ask for help, it doesn't mean you failed. It means you're not alone.
Right.
And the more you can ask people for help, the right people, but the more you can, know and feel that you can count on someone. So as your sister was the main one, right, who's really helping you out throughout this entire time. You also had a couple other people in your camp for support, right? You mentioned your sister, your boyfriend at the time, your mom.
Yeah.
Now, the timing of this accident is May 8th, 2018. Pre-call, I treaded lightly. I used the words, everything happens for a reason. Walk me through what was going on with one of the most important people, obviously one of the biggest support systems in your mom. What was going through that?
So my mom was really sick. She's been really sick ever since I was like little.
Okay.
But at this time, it just happened all so fast. So I would say mid-June, she got really, really sick. And it was to the point where we had to take her to the hospital. I was feeling good enough to get up and go visit my mom because my mom couldn't visit me in the hospital.
Yeah, because you're 5 weeks removed from breaking your back?
Yeah.
Okay.
So my sister, she got me out of bed.
Yeah.
She clothed me. She put me into her car and was like, we're going to go visit mom.
Okay.
So when we go to visit my mom, she just didn't look good. And we were just like, okay.
When was the last time you saw your mom before this?
It was actually just a couple days before my accident because her birthday's the 27th of April.
Okay. It's like a week, 2 weeks prior. Okay.
Yeah. And so mid-June, we took her to the hospital and they just said she wasn't doing good. Okay. She was losing a lot of blood. She had to get multiple blood transfusions. Her kidneys were failing. It was just a crazy time. And then, I had to go to ever since then. We took her to the hospital. I was there every single day, and getting out of bed.
I was just going to say that the struggle of just what you took for granted, what everyone takes for granted, just getting out of bed, putting your socks on, putting your clothes on, lifting your arms to wash your,
and having to be in a back brace.
Sure.
That was like it was such a weird feeling because I've never been.
You never had to rely on something.
And having to rely on it, and then having to use a walker as well, and just I was definitely feeling judged when I was wearing the back brace. Definitely, but a good thing I was at a hospital because they were like,
they're like, oh, you're a patient. This is where you fit in, the one place.
The one place.
We'll talk about fitting in later with a back brace, but carry on.
And then we went to visit her every single day. I had to walk upstairs, and I didn't have any physical therapy at this point. Sure. Nothing. I was just going to visit my mom. Yeah. And that was probably the hardest thing. Yeah. And the toughest thing on my body at the time because I was supposed to be recovering.
I was going to say, is this against doctor's orders?
Pretty much.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean duty calls, right?
Yeah.
So May 8th accident. You're now mid-June visiting your mom. July 5th. Yeah. Your mom passes.
That was a hard time because July 5th, we were supposed to stay with her July 4th.
Sure.
and like in the hospital. And she told us, no, it's going to be okay. Go home.
Take your time. Take your time.
Go home. I want you guys to, see the fireworks, celebrate. Don't know why we're celebrating, but.
Now we don't know, but yeah.
Yeah. July 5th comes and we got a call. My sister got a phone call at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And it was, hi, your mom's about to be released. We could release her. Do you want to do hospice care? Is that going to be okay? Like, can we set that up for you? And, at that point, just hearing those words were like, yes, like we will go pick her up and we will do hospice care.
Whatever we have to do.
Not even a minute later, my sister getting off the phone. She got another phone call and it was like, your mom's having a heart attack. You need to come to the hospital now.
Just right away. You just found out.
Literally
you can
just
go get
found
her.
out. Yeah.
Ugh.
And we literally rushed.
Rushed.
Rushed to UCLA at 9 a.m. in traffic.
Yeah.
And we got there as soon as possible. My sister she got us there in like 30, 40 minutes.
Sure.
On the 405 at 9
LA
a.m.
traffic
Right.
Says a lot.
So that was a lot. I just remember my sister just making sure that I got a wheelchair. She rushed me up to the hospital floor my mom was at, and we waited for my mom to pass till the nighttime.
But you got to be there with her
to
say goodbye.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
As I know, a lot of people obviously didn't have that opportunity.
Right.
When we talked a couple of days ago about all this, I wanted to make sure, you were able to say goodbye. And then also, I tried to put myself in your shoes because we all live in a selfish world. Here you are, you break your back 2 months prior, almost to the day, right? The 5th and the 8th, super close. You break your back. It takes everything you have to just get out of bed, let alone get dressed and go somewhere.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. That went out every single window. And you probably forgot you were in a back brace.
Yeah.
Forgot you broke your back.
Forgot.
Because now here you are saying goodbye to your mom. I commend you on levels that I don't even have the words for. Just know that I don't even know if I'd have the strength. I will say that. Now, going down the timeline of domino effect, in times of major life changes and challenges, you broke your back. That would count as one of them.
Yeah.
Your mom passes. That would count as another.
Yeah.
Mind you, 2 months apart. 24, 48 hours later, after your mom passes, someone else exits your life by choice.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
My boyfriend at the time, I guess, just didn't want to be together anymore. And, I don't have any hate towards him or anything. I just feel like he just was thrown at things that was just too much to handle. And, we weren't married or anything, so
Sure.
It was just something that he just couldn't handle, and that's a blessing in disguise. And, I felt like I did lose that person.
Yeah, your rock.
Exactly, yeah.
How long were you guys together?
We were together for about 3 years.
So long enough to become your rock.
Yeah.
Speaking of blessing in disguise, let me backtrack a little bit and we'll talk about the ex-boyfriend for a second. But again, I treaded lightly on our pre-call and I said, I hate to say this, but I do believe everything happens for a reason. So as you said, prior to your accident, tell us a little bit about your life, day to day, week to week.
I worked 2 jobs like everyone else in LA, working 2 jobs. They don't have time for themselves.
Yeah.
They don't have time for their friends or family, to be honest. And that's how I was living.
Go, go, go.
And you don't really think about your mental health at that time either. And you don't really think of, you think of your physical.
Yeah.
You think of more of material things.
Yeah, because you can see all that in the mirror.
Exactly.
Or in a photo.
Yeah. And then this happens.
Yeah. So I bring up blessing in disguise and everything happens for a reason because of your accident, you are now able to spend as much time as you physically,
Right.
literally could with your mom. Thank God.
Yeah.
Because who knows, no accident. You're probably going to be still go, go, go. Obviously, once you knew your mom was serious, maybe not every day you'd be there, right?
Right,
So
right.
now you have the time to put the time into your relationship and, being around your mom. But back to the boyfriend.
Back to the hoop.
Again, who are we to judge?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
That is a tall order. I'm sure the accident was a lot. And then your mom, and we can't speak on his behalf. Commend you for not having hard feelings, ill will. Says a lot about you as a person. But now again, you have your accident in May. You lose your mom in July 5th, to be exact, and your boyfriend a couple days after that. Walk me through what is going on in your head and in your heart.
You just become really numb. I didn't feel myself after the accident.
Right.
Losing somebody who is super close to you is just really heartbreaking. So you just literally feel numb and you don't feel like it's real.
Sure. Like a bad dream.
It feels like a bad dream and it's never ending.
Yeah.
I don't really remember too much of like how I really, really felt because I was just so more concerned about like my family because of my mom.
Sure.
And just trying to be okay with, her passing. Even
Sure.
for myself, I was trying to be, the strong one. Even though I had, wasn't really capable of being that strong, I was trying to be mentally strong for
Sure.
everybody around me. And I was just more focused on my mom. I wasn't really focused on the breakup too much.
Sure.
I just think that was so irrelevant to my life.
Of
Like,
course.
if you want to leave, then you could leave.
Priorities. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So, my mom was our everything.
Sure.
So it was just me like, okay, I need to get better.
So you flipped the switch in your head.
Yeah.
Because you were at a crossroad. A lot of people in your shoes could maybe be thinking end of the world, worst case scenarios, left, right, center, just again, the domino effect. You could fall into depression, What has happened? I'm in a back brace. I need help to get out of bed. I lose my mom. My boyfriend broke up with me. Is it me? And all these possible things going through your head.
Yeah.
But you were able to say, but you know what? Sometimes you can't change your circumstances, but you can change how you respond to your circumstances. Walk me through kind of what became your mindset now, where you're not going to play the victim role. You're not going to say, boo-hoo, poor me, right? You're going to say, I'm going to get through this one by one. I got to get myself together first, because the more you get yourself together, everyone else around you benefits.
Yes.
I'm going to get myself together. I'm going to grieve in the meantime, and I'll figure out this relationship situation down the road.
Yeah.
But I'm sure a support system helps.
Oh, yes.
Right? So walk me through.
Big support system helps. I mean, after my mom, I just had so many friends and family just making sure I was okay, and just making sure, like, if I ever needed help, let me know. I remember going into physical therapy my first time, and I wasn't able to do something the doctor, asked me to do, was just reach down and touch my toes.
Ugh.
And it was my first time. And then I just started crying. Like, I just didn't know what to do.
First day.
First day.
First of many.
First of many was right. Is right. I mean, I just bawled. I just didn't know.
Sure.
I didn't know how to feel.
Sure.
This was something I was so used to be able to do, and now I
Yeah.
can't. And then, just on top. He didn't know about my mom either.
Sure. I was going to ask, what date are we talking about here? So your mom passed on July 5th. What's your first day of therapy?
I would say it was July 10th,
Oh,
11th.
God. Not even a week later.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean,
Okay.
I had to go.
Sure,
So I was,
sure,
yeah.
sure.
My body needed to move in
course.
some way.
Of course.
And then I just remember crying, and my sister was with me, and he just pretty much just told me I'm going to be able to do anything I set my mind to. And then I remember leaving there, and my sister was just like, Nikki, you have to get better for Mom.
Sure. Yeah.
And I just kept telling myself that every day.
Sure. Lights at the end of the tunnel do something for you.
They do.
We all have
They
our different
do.
light.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you had still an amazing support group minus 2 people, right, who were probably at the head of your support group prior to July 5th, right? So your sister's there, your friends are there. You mentioned your therapist was really good at like motivational speaker, hype man,
It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that kind of got you through it as well.
It did, because I probably cried every single day of physical therapy for
Sure.
like a good month.
Sure.
He would have me just do calming breaths for a good 30 minutes before I even started.
Sure.
He was like, you need to meditate.
Mm.
He's like, you need to meditate for a good 30 minutes and I'll come back to you.
Yeah.
And honestly, that is the biggest
Wow.
thing that made me overcome this.
So interesting you said that, because it's, you have 2 challenges ahead of you as far as building your strength back.
Mm-hmm.
Physically, obviously, but mentally.
That,
A lot of people take that for granted.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing to lift weights and to exercise and to eat properly. It's another thing to figure out what's going on with your mental strength, right? Your mental thoughts and what you tell yourself, right? The fact that he had you meditate, the fact that he had you just, hey, slow down. Before we even start, get your mind right. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's beautiful. And I guess my next question is follow-up. Do you still kind of apply that today?
Every day.
Okay. So obviously had a lasting impact on you.
Every day. I do yoga every morning and night.
Yeah. There's a quote I want to read for you. It's from John C. Maxwell, this author. He says, when we control our thoughts, we control our attitude. And your attitude is your emotional approach to life. So here you are now, controlling your thoughts, gaining the best attitude to have, because God knows you needed it every single session, every single minute of every single session, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I applaud you,
you.
for that,
Thank
because
you.
that's on another level. Let's fast forward a little bit.
Okay.
How long were you in physical therapy for, roughly?
I would say a good 2 months.
That's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not too
And then they
long.
sent you home with some stuff
Yeah.
to do. Okay, some
to
at
do
home.
at
So-
home. Mm-hmm.
So 2 months of physical therapy. Now you're at home doing your stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
But a year goes by from your accident.
Yeah.
So again, May 8th, 2018.
Oh, yeah.
Here we are, May 8th, 2019.
Yeah.
This is the good stuff for me personally. And we can all learn from this. I want you to walk me through what happened on May 8th, 2019, exactly a year removed from breaking your back.
Mm-hmm.
Please.
I decided I wanted to do a backflip.
Okay. Again, mental toughness, right? A lot of people could have cases of PTSD from major injury. It was trauma. It was nothing short of trauma.
I'm still low-key traumatized.
Sure.
Yeah.
So a year later, the genius in you says, but
I just had to do it.
I want to try this.
Yeah, because I always told myself I'm gonna do a backflip. I asked my doctor if I'm ever gonna be able to do gymnastics again, and he said, "Yeah, eventually." And I was like, "Okay." And then I just every time I would tell my story to friends, and I was like, "Yeah, but one day I'm gonna be able to do a backflip again.
Sure.
Like I'm just gonna do it." And they're like, "Why?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Just to say I could do it."
Sure.
You
What was kind of the timeline your doctor was giving you, as far as when you could perform a backflip, let alone do any type of gymnastics?
2-3 years.
Okay. Here you are a year later,
Yeah.
and you walk in the gym.
I was at work.
You're at work.
Yeah.
And walk me through what the hell was going through your mind and was like, I think I can do this. Take me through that.
I was just sitting in my office with my other coworker, Charlie. He's amazing. And I just randomly got up and I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to do a backflip today. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I really want to do a backflip. And he's like, but into the foam pit, right? And I was like, yeah, of course. And with the spot, of course.
Of course.
And then he was like, all right, let's go. Get up. And I was like, really? Because I was so nervous at that point. I thought he was going to tell me to sit down.
You were like, all talk.
Yeah, I
He's
was
like, okay.
at the moment. And then I was like, are you serious? And
Yeah.
he goes, yeah, you're getting up right now. We're going to do it. And I was like, okay. So I got up, and I mean, it took me a good, I would say 40 seconds to actually want to pursue it and do it. But he was like, come on, you got it, you got it. And then I had all my other coworkers cheering me on at the same time. And then, when I coach the girls, you just always make sure that they follow through, and then just always just don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Easier said than done.
Right. And, you know, but just to follow your dreams, or just, you know, just to pursue what you said you did, what you're going to do. And so I did.
I'm like nervous right now, and we're sitting down. There's no backflips happening, but I'm like nervous because I can only imagine. So walk me through. I want to know each step. I want to know what your thought process was, your mindset. So you're now the foam pit's to your back.
Yeah.
You're standing there with Charlie.
Yeah.
He has your hand on your lower back, I'm assuming.
Yeah, on my lower back.
Okay.
And, you know, just make sure I'm prepping the right way, setting the right way.
Sure.
And
how long did it take you to actually be like, okay, let's go?
I know, I was so nervous. I was like, it took me like a good minute to think about it and be like, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just do it and just throw it. And once I threw it, I was like, what a relief, but not again.
But time out. You can't sum it up like that. I gotta get a little more deeper than that. You are performing something that almost paralyzed you a year prior.
Yeah.
You do it and do it flawless. Because I'm not gonna say effortlessly, because I know it took a lot of effort, but you did it flawlessly.
Thank you.
You now land in the foam pit.
Yeah.
I want to know what your thoughts were, what cloud number you were on, what state of bliss, euphoria you were feeling, landing safely, knowing you did it, knowing what happened to you. Were you emotional? Were you like ecstatic? Like what was going through your head?
I think I teared up.
Were you in shock?
I was in shock for sure that I was even able to do it.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think I got a little emotional because I was like, I told myself in the beginning, I'm going to be able to do it. My sister was mad at me because she was like, why did you do that?
Sure.
But I was like, remember I told you I was going to be able to do one year?
Yeah.
And I told you in a year I'm going to be able to do it. And I did it. And even if it's in the foam pit, I don't care. I still did it.
Sure.
And it felt great. It was a huge relief.
Yes.
Cloud 9
Was Charlie like your biggest fan right at that moment?
He was.
Biggest cheerleader, jumping up and down?
Well, Charlie doesn't really get like that, but, you know, in his head, he was cheering me on. Yeah.
Okay.
He's very strict.
Jeez. I mean, again, as I will throughout this entire episode, applaud you.
Thank you.
Just applaud and commend and just like be nothing short of inspired, as I know everyone will be. Also wanted to ask you, I mean, because for me, something that's really kind of changed my life for the last 2 years is a simple word with a huge meaning behind it of gratitude. It means something different to everybody. I personally think it depends on what that person is going through or has gone through of what the level of gratitude, the priority where it ranks in their life. So 2 questions to you. Number 1 is, prior to your accident, what did gratitude mean to you? And then after your accident, what does gratitude mean to you?
So gratitude before my accident, and this was a really tough question because I didn't really have, like, I didn't think of it because, you know, like, we're working so much, you don't really think of like how much you should be appreciating life. And I was just going day by day, like everyone else. And after my accident, just my gratitude literally lies on just being able to do something with such ease and just normal and just doing it just so
like a walk in the park, riding a bike.
And that's honestly what is gratitude to me, is just being able to do something every single day with such ease. And before that, I took that for granted. I definitely did.
Yeah, everyone does.
Yeah, and it was a wake-up call. It was a blessing in disguise, you know, at the same time, but it was definitely a wake-up call, and it's making me appreciate life in so many different ways.
And so the fact that now you're able to put on your socks.
Yeah, I love that.
Get dressed, shower by yourself, get out of bed, go wherever you want to, pretty much do physically, correct me if I'm wrong, whatever. I mean, you said running is not really
Still
yet.
Limited.
No problem.
Yeah.
Is that kind of the only major limitation as far as physically in the gym or exercising?
Pretty much.
Okay.
I just can't go on my toes.
Okay.
Like my right foot, I can't stand on my toes.
Okay.
Really interesting, but it's from the nerve damage.
Sure. Which takes a long
Takes
time
a
to
lot
get,
of
if
time.
ever.
Right.
Right.
And my physical therapist said it might take about a couple years to rebuild those nerves.
Okay.
So that's a work in progress.
Sure.
But
Sure.
Other than that, I don't really have that many limitations anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you did.
It's great. And I did, yes.
So I want to talk about, because now we know, obviously the backstory, the amount of gratitude that just poured over you, obviously, after, and not taking things for granted, etc. But I want to know, would something as traumatic as your injury was, would something as devastating as the loss of your mother was, and something that was so probably confusing, frustrating, and all the other emotions as it was after your boyfriend of 3 years decides to break up with you days after your mom passes, I want to know some of the biggest challenges you went through during that short 2.5 month span, 3 month span.
Yeah, the biggest challenge I think I had to go through was loss. Losing someone, losing your independence, losing something that's so normal to you, it's like ripping your life away. It's, I think that was my most, I would say I was depressed for a while.
Sure.
Because I couldn't get over that. And it's definitely something that I'm learning still.
Sure.
And it's something that I hope everyone else can learn as well. It never gets easy.
You just get stronger.
You just get stronger. You just find, like love in everything that you do.
Sure. There's something I recently learned along these lines. Uncertainty can actually be worse than just straight up bad news. The uncertainty of, well, what if this happens? Or what if that happens? Or what if they do this? What if they come back? Or what if I got this? But if someone just said, no, this is exactly what it is. I'm sorry to give you the bad news. At least you now know it's out of my control. I can't bring this person back, whether it's your mom. I can't have this person want to be in a relationship with me as your boyfriend. I can't.
Right.
You can now channel your mindset to be like, okay, I can't change these circumstances, but I'm going to do everything I can to try to change how I feel and how I respond and how I move forward from this bad news that I received. So what would you say are some of the lessons that you learned from the challenges of loss, the challenges of just not, you have to accept the fact that there's nothing you can do?
Right. I think the lessons I learned is definitely just to appreciate the time you have with those people, the time you have with yourself. Find the joy in everything.
Sure.
It's so hard because like I said, it just never really gets easier, losing somebody or just losing your independence, but you become stronger. And I would think the lessons is just, you just find love in literally everything.
And you set goals.
And you set goals.
And you manifest.
Because that's what I did definitely. Definitely manifested everything. I told myself I'll do a backflip in a year, and I did it.
Yeah. So, and also don't sweat the small stuff.
Don't sweat the small stuff.
Life is hard. Don't make it harder.
Don't.
Prepare yourself for when. It's not if something bad happens, it's when. It's again, it's how you're going to react to it and how you're going to respond.
Because you just never know.
I can only imagine, this may be a dumb question, but I can only imagine how much stronger you are today because of what you went through, because of what you had to endure, and more importantly, in my opinion, what you had to just accept, whether you liked it or not. I know that this will inspire people. I know that, it took guts to, because this is the second time you've told your story. I know the first time was your video on Instagram, which is amazing. I'll make sure people watch it. I'll put it in the comments and all that. But I know this will inspire people because I know that there's so many people out there going through similar situations or worse, right? Because it could always be worse.
It can always be worse.
And I guess my question is, what do you want to leave someone who had to face loss, had to face a domino effect of challenges after challenges, rainy day after rainy day, depression? I don't know if I can get through this. Why me?
I would tell them, challenges are hard.
Yeah.
And it's the meaning of life. What makes life beautiful.
I love that.
Because you will get through it. You will be okay. If you tell yourself you're going to be okay.
Right.
You know, but challenges do make life beautiful.
Sure.
You don't need to worry about the material things or, you know, the small stuff, the stuff you see on Instagram. Just enjoy your life in the moment. And that's what I would just tell everybody.
Which I hope everybody's listening, because that is the overall big picture.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many times where I miss my flight, or it's delayed, or it's canceled when I travel, and I'm like bent out of shape for like 5 minutes. And then I'm like, okay.
It could be worse.
It could be worse.
Yeah.
Let me figure out what to do next. Let me move forward. There's so many times where, you know, as I'm sure a lot of people have, where you lose a friend. Yeah. You know, you guys are grown apart, or something bad happened that, you know, if it no longer serves you, you have to let it go, right? Some friends are seasonal, some are for a lifetime. And you just have to also, if I can add to your message you want to leave with people, if I could just also add Tony Robbins, we talked about this. There's a saying that says you win some and you lose some. Tony Robbins says the new saying should be you win some and you learn some.
Love that.
Oftentimes, if not every single time, when we go through hell, we always say, why me? You know, why did this have to happen right now, etc. You look at it as a loss.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Instead, try to just, I know it's hard. I know it's got to be on another level of difficult. But you have to try to find the reason and the lesson. And if it is in your control at all, not that your mom was, not so much that your boyfriend was, but you have to understand that whatever is in your control, try to do that.
Exactly.
Because the goal is to not make this same mistake twice,
right,
or not let this impact you again, because it may happen, right? Find the lesson in it all, and just try to stay positive. Try to control your mindset. Try to just remember the bigger picture. Take it one step at a time. No pun intended, because I know steps for you are on another level of difficulty.
Another level, yeah.
Okay. No more sad stuff.
That was good. Okay.
Which is amazing.
Thank you.
Side note, a little bit of a tangent, but it'll make sense. My daughter and I just watched Inside Out for like the 15th time. And have you ever seen that movie?
I've never seen that.
But you know
Is
what I'm talking about, though? Yeah, it's a Disney movie. It's
yeah.
it's basically a person's mind, and there's all these different emotions, and they're at one control panel.
Oh,
and sadness of an emotion will hit the button, and you'll feel sad. And then joy will hit the button, and you'll feel happy, and anger, and so on, and nervousness, and so on and so forth. Great movie, great messages all around. And I bring it up because when I was watching it, and again, I've seen this movie 15 times, and I'm watching it now the other day, and I'm like, I still don't remember why sadness was like a part of this movie, because she was just like, you know, moping around, and Joy's like, come on, sadness. She's like, I'm just sad. And then towards the end, they tied it all together, and they said sadness is as much of an important emotion as it all is. Because when you are sad, you're going to think, this is making me sad. This is what I'm going through. But what happens next, which is you overcome that challenge, and now you're not sad anymore. You're joyful.
Right.
When you have the next sad moment, you're going to know what you did at the first sad moment, and so on and so forth, right? It was just and I was like, God, this movie's amazing. Adults can learn something. Yeah, let alone my 12-year-old daughter at the time. I think when it came out, she was like 7. So great movie. But again, I'm glad we were sad for a little bit.
Right, I know.
And we got some solutions. We're going to help out a lot of people. So here's the fun part, at least for me it is. I'm sure it will be for you. We're going to go through a round of rapid fire questions.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Nicole has no idea what these questions are. There's 5 of them. I like to surprise everyone because I like their raw, genuine reaction. Okay? First question is, who is or was your role model?
Ooh.
By the way, sorry to cut you off. If it's you, it would make total sense. Just side note, but go ahead.
I would definitely say I have 2 role models.
Okay.
My mom.
Sure.
Definitely will always be my role model.
Sure.
And my little sister.
Okay. The one who helped take care of you.
The one has helped me.
Got it. Was she at that level before the accident, or kind of became over?
Became.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
She had to go through a lot at the same time I did,
Sure.
and trying to deal with me and then deal
Yeah.
with my mom and
Yeah.
family. And just every day we just, we're always there for each other, like no matter what.
Sure.
She's definitely one of my role
Yeah.
models.
I mean, you realize who you have in your camp
Oh, yeah.
when things don't go as planned.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
And we know who you shouldn't have in your camp when things don't go as planned.
Hey.
Moving on. Number 2. Where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years?
Ooh, I see myself continuing to inspire people to want to become better.
Great.
And to push them through whatever they are going through.
Sure. Which is you're starting. You're already there.
Exactly.
Sorry, you're not starting. You're already there.
Yeah.
You're on that train. Okay. Number 3. What do you want to be known for when you leave this earth?
Wow.
Think legacy. Take your time.
Yeah, this is
It's loaded.
good.
I know. That's why I couldn't prep you with it.
Darn. Just, I want to be known as the beautiful human being. Just somebody who was always there for everybody, and just somebody who was there to give them hope.
Sure. The light
The light.
at the end of their tunnel.
Hey,
Come on now.
working.
I'm getting good at this. Okay. 2 more questions.
Okay.
And this actually is for selfish reasons. I'm asking this question. Everyone should know by now. I know you know. I have a 12-year-old little girl.
Yeah.
As a father, however, not being female, as a man, there's going to be a lot of things I don't understand, and I will try my hardest, and hopefully she knows that. But I asked this question for selfish reasons, to hopefully I can pass down to her, or she can watch this one day. What advice would you give teenager Nicole? Now that you have all the hindsight, you've worked out all the kinks as much as you can at your 28-year-old age, what advice would you give teenager Nicole?
Ooh. Always believe in yourself. Always believe in yourself.
I love it.
That's honestly the one thing I can say.
Sure, no matter what.
That's it, period.
Love it.
On period.
Okay, last question.
Okay, I'm ready.
What do you admire most about you?
Ooh, that's good. That's real good. That puts me on the spot because, I
Yeah.
could say a lot.
Right.
But
Say it all.
Just kidding.
Say it all.
What I like most about me, I could light up a room. I don't want to say I get that often, but I do. But I know that when I walk into a room, I can always put a smile on somebody's face.
Sure.
It doesn't matter what they're going through, what I'm going through. I'm going to make a smile on your face. And I think that's what I like most about me.
I can attest to that because ironically enough, again, we met at Equinox.
Yeah, my first day of training.
But you're the first person I see when I walk into the door, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you can do a lot of jobs in that company.
Yeah.
But lucky for Equinox,
Yep.
you're the first person people see.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty positive person. I'm pretty, upbeat all the time, but I'm human. And there may have been a couple times where, I was like, I have to go work out and whatever. And I remember every time I would see you, by the way, the light would always hit you guys right. You know what I'm saying? So you're like, get your Beyonce light going. And,
don't tell Camille that. She'll
yeah, right.
boost her head.
And I just remember you guys have this presence, and you specifically, obviously you're here, of making people forget about their problems. And in a sense, for lack of a better term, I remember just walking in and I see you guys and the greeting that I always got, I was like, oh man, that's great. And I just, I'd scan everything and I'd get ready to walk upstairs and I'm like, I realized that helped, so you guys know. Okay. We'll wrap this up. But I want to take a moment to, hold on a second.
Are you going to cry?
No,
I'm going to cry.
I want to take a moment to acknowledge you.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to cry.
I'd like you to actually do something with me. I want you to, with me, appreciate you. you know, a lot of times, like you said earlier, people are busy, life's go, go, go. Even now, after you know what slow down Nicole means, I'm sure life has happened and you're kind of, I mean, minus quarantine,
Right.
you're kind of back to normal, you know,
Yeah.
quote unquote. And you may have forgotten about a lot of what happened in May, in July, so on in the months to follow. So I want you to look at how far you've come. I want you to remember the hardest moments, the biggest challenges. And I want you now, sitting here today, to look at all you've accomplished. From backflips to just walking and driving and being able to do things that I'm sure there was hopefully a short time there you didn't think you could ever do. And I want you also to just take a moment to realize where you're headed. I mean, and it starts with getting your story out there. You know, we used to, well, I wasn't joking. Maybe you thought I was, you know, during our time at Equinox. Because I don't belong there either, by the way.
Right.
No, seriously, I don't. I froze it, canceled it.
He doesn't.
I'm not paying the same
Right.
price with quarantine. Come on now.
Too much.
Please watch this. No, but,
I'm all talking bad about the business. My bad.
but I do. I recall often, as I introduced you virtually to my wife, to my daughter, you know, to other people. I used to always say, "You got to get your story out there.
Always.
Write a book."
Always told me to write a book.
I mean, what are you?
I think it was like the second time we had a conversation, you told me to write a book.
Yeah.
You were like, "Who are you? Write a book."
Yeah, for sure. Just because I knew you could not possibly be the only one.
Yeah.
And I know there's other people out there who can relate
Right.
to what you're going through.
Right.
And I want you to know that I know the book will come, but
One day, guys. One day.
I want you to
Putting
know
it out there now.
you're a living, breathing, walking, light, as I wrote that down before you said it,
Love that.
inspiration.
Thank you.
Your story, I know for a fact, will help thousands of people. It has helped me and impacted me on levels that, you know, sometimes I know, sometimes I don't. And I think about you often when I'm struggling with nowhere near what you've struggled with.
But everyone goes through it.
And
something.
everyone goes through it.
Yeah.
And you, for me, are in the role models of my life circle.
Thank you.
So.
Yes, you are going to make me cry.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
We all appreciate you.
Thank you.
There's nothing I can tell you that you already don't know and you already haven't heard. But on behalf of me, on behalf of everyone who's going to watch this, please do not stop doing what you're doing and striving for what I know you can achieve and accomplish.
Agree.
So I have so much love for you.
Thank you so much.
And I can't thank you enough for being here, for being courageous to
Of
get your story
course.
out there,
Of
telling the
course.
world.
Thank you for motivating me to want to put my story out there.
Listen, the least I could do.
Thank you.
So I'm glad we got to do this.
Yeah.
And
This is fun.
I'm excited for what's next.
Me too.
For Nicole. So
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you.